Who wins, Sarada Uchiha from Boruto versus Aura Michibane from Bleach Can't Fear Your Own World? This video was requested by donating to our channel. If you'd like to request your own video, the link will be in the description and the comments section. Also, be sure to watch our previous requested video on how strong is Kaguya, as many of the concepts and topics discussed in this video have already been explained there. Thank you for donating to the channel, and let's get into the video. Sarada is a daughter of Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno, with the goal of one day becoming the Hokage. Owing to the current events of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, which involved Ada using omnipotence to switch Boruto and Kawaki's place, Sarada suffered heavy emotional turmoil which led her to awaken the Mangekyō Sharingan, and with it immense power, even capable of taking down a divine tree humanoid. She can use shuriken jutsu and many variations of the fire style, which is typical of the Uchiha, such as the fire style fireball jutsu. She can stream her chakra to produce lightning style, and when combined with her Sharingan, she can perform the immensely powerful jab called Chidori. She's also been shown to see through illusions with her Sharingan, and even while she was younger, she had a strong attribute for Genjutsu. She can also use Young Release to enhance her physical strength with chakra, like her mother Sakura, but also like a fellow Uchiha Itachi in the light novels, who shattered a massive boulder with his fist. With her regular Sharingan, she can observe things on a small scale, including nano-sized viruses, much like Obito's Sharingan, which was able to observe Torine's bugs, which demonstrates incredible visual clarity on Sarada's part. She also possesses the power to see chakra as colors, as with the Sharingan, and the power to see through Genjutsu, Ninjutsu, and Taijutsu, as well as copy them. Another incredible feature of the Sharingan is its kinetic vision, which allows the Sharingan wielder to predict their opponent's moves, even from minor movements like muscle tension and twitching, something her father Sasuke Uchiha is known for doing at all times, according to the Boruto novel. And then we have the Mangekyō Sharingan, something which even Kashin Koji believes will be critical for their upcoming battles. Mangekyō Sharingan Ohirume is very similar to her father and uncle's Amaterasu, in the sense that both Amaterasu and Ohirume are names of the same Japanese sun goddess, the Great Lady or Great Woman of the Sun, with both being star-themed. In Sarada's case, she can fly and summon multiple black spheres, which are similar to black holes in the sense that they possess gravitational pull. However, these seem to be gravitational spheres and not holes in space, and the force can be applied to specific targets in the vicinity, such as Ryu's iron sand, while ignoring everything else like kunais and the people present. She's also able to change the direction of oncoming assaults, even after Ryu tried to adapt to her pull by changing its trajectory. And furthermore, Sarada also stated that she already knows what to do concerning her powers, as she demonstrated enough knowledge and expertise to accurately use it to defeat Ryu, an opponent whom she used her powers to reduce to tiny debris. She crushed his 10-tailed body to tiny pieces. Now, how will this fare against Aura Michibane, the Fullbringer who bends all matter to her will? Aura spent her childhood in a tiny room in the basement of her house, locked away by her father, whose only desire was to protect her at all cost. The only things he taught her were literacy, the laws of physics, and how to use her powers. Fullbringers draw on the souls of things around them and use said entities for their own benefit. With a strong connection to any particular thing, they can draw out a stronger soul and unleash incredible power from specific objects. As in the case of Yukio Hans Voralberna, thanks to his connection with his game, he's able to generate pocket dimensions and control these from his game screen. He could even fast forward time inside his dimensions. But Aura, who was locked away, has no connection to any particular item. She only possesses the basic Fullbring power to manipulate her surrounding, but to an extreme extent, to the point where she can bend all matter, including spiritual matter, to her own will. Her control was so thorough that she was compared to Sosuke Aizen's skill in Hakuda and Kido. Aura could twist the very laws of physics themselves, and disperse her existence even down to the level of her cells. As in, she could scatter all of her cells and turn into mist. She could even turn her existence into pure reishi, which are like spiritual atoms, or convert her existence from matter to pure force by turning into reiatsu. In other words, she can convert herself from matter into pure spiritual force. She can control all the matter around her, even across Karakura town, even isolate elements of air like nitrogen to create barriers, convert atmospheric particles into a massive ocean, or transmute said particles into a massive lava dragon. Her control of matter on a large scale is simply absolute. Everything from converting glass into sand or regenerating her damaged body parts is possible. Even when her head was decapitated, she simply walked over to it, picked it up, and put it back on. Her abilities lead to countless possibilities. Where speed is concerned, many fans will go all the way back to Haku, as they attempt to attribute the speed of light scaling to both Naruto and Sasuke. However, Haku was portrayed as holding back against both Naruto and Sasuke, and it would be inconsistent for them to be light speed at this point in the story. It's also stated that Haku's light speed movement is between mirrors, and that it's something he can possibly do. In other words, it's possible for him to choose to not move at light speed either. However, this does open the door for jutsu and certain techniques to exist at the speed of light. Another case is the Kirin, something much further in the story, which should move at the speed of lightning as Sasuke is merely guiding lightning to the ground, and should reach the ground in a thousandth of a second is still considered something somewhat undodgeable. But even if one should resort to the databook translation which says Kirin is light speed, the same scan says that this light speed attack is inescapable, because the light speed attack is too fast. Furthermore, using the speed equation, because the light speed attack is traveling at least hundreds of meters, it wouldn't scale anyone to the speed of light even if they reacted to it. There are also other in-manga consistencies, like Mabui's light speed transportation, which shows that the bodies of powerful Hokage tier characters like Tsunade cannot withstand movement at the speed of light without sustaining damage. And even the Raikage, who is supposed to have a special body thanks to his heritage, still shows signs of discomfort. And even the 4th Hokage, who was supposed to be the fastest shinobi, is said to be unavoidable as he moves at the speed of light. Therefore, light speed is considered exceptionally fast even at the level of the Hokage. So it's not that light speed is impossible, but it's very much debatable as to whether or not they reach this level before 6 paths, that is in terms of their natural combat movements, and even less likely that they surpass the speed of light by any significant degree. Even the statement about the Raikage's lariat being like light can be treated as a simile, but at the level of 6-path characters and beyond, light speed meta becomes a lot more concrete. And with abilities like Susanoo, which can have techniques which can move faster than the user, and the fact that characters like Naruto and Sasuke at the 6-path level should still be able to need chakra to amplify their speed, going beyond the speed of light is also consistent. But I've also explained why Kaguya pulling chakra into her root time-space from the Naruto world is not a reliable speed feat, as she can simply pull chakra through space-time, which eliminates the need to pull chakra across the outer space of a universe, something which we also didn't see. And even if granted, this would only represent the speed at which she's able to pull chakra into herself for absorption, rather than a emission or combat speed feat. And the same applies to Momoshiki as well, but it also leaves Sasuke's perception speed a bit more ambiguous, as it implies that Momoshiki was already absorbing chakra into his body, as it states that the chakra was already being sucked into his body. So it depends on whether or not Sasuke's eyes kept pace with the stream of energy as it entered space, and was then siphoned into Momoshiki's body, or if the energy was already in the process of being sucked into his body, and Sasuke merely witnessed the continuous stream of that energy which would extend across space, which wouldn't be a speed feat. Since Fuse Momoshiki, with whom Naruto and Sasuke could keep pace, is beyond Kaguya, with Jigen soundly surpassing both of them, with Code without limiters then surpassing Jigen, and with Ryo the Divine Tree humanoid threatening to kill Code the next time he sees him, with Jura the strongest Tentails manifestation somewhat agreeing that Ryu could take care of Code. At the bare minimum, it proposes that Sarada, who was able to take care of Ryu, and even activate her gravitational fields in response to his attacks, would scale to these godlike levels of speed and power as well. Another line of reasoning is that Hidari was able to siphon Sasuke's chakra, in addition to possessing Tentail's power, to the point where his chakra signature was completely identical to Sasuke's, was unable to easily dispose of Sarada, who only possessed a regular Sharingan, who also reacted to his Chidori jab. You can also consider Boro, who for some reason was supposed to be beyond Delta in terms of fighting power, much like Hidari was also struck by Sarada's Chidori, in which case even if you disagree with some of the specifics, there's still enough information and feats to put Sarada in this overall tier. Upscaling from techniques like the Light Fang and the Resident novels make FTL Plus to MFTL very plausible. And be sure to watch the video on Kaguya, which explained her dimensions and where she would scale, as upscaling from Kaguya through Momoshiki to Jigen, who can easily dismantle Naruto and Sasuke's defenses, would make Sarada planetary to stellar class. Now for Aura Michibane, in the novel she was able to keep up with Kisuke Urahara, who had no problem keeping up with the likes of Askin Naklevar even before modifying his body, who thanks to his battle against Ichigo Kurosaki would scale back to Uryu and Senjumaru, to a speed feat which completely dwarfs anything in the Narutoverse, with Reiatsu which was stated and shown to travel across separate realms in mere minutes, with these realms at bare minimum being entire chunks of the universe. Even more casual feats like Ichigo rushing from Royal Palace with Shunpo, where he was portrayed as exerting effort to get there fast, on a journey which took him roughly a day or less just to lowball, and then quantify Ichigo's casual flash step speed which he used to blitz the females to enrichers, lowball the distance to the clock tower to roughly 10 or 20 meters, lowball the female's thermometer senses to say that they're comparable to Uryu's senses when he fought against a Privaron Espada, resulting in a lowballed value of 33 million meters per second, and lowball Ichigo's travel time to 5 hours, kilometers to get the distance to reiryoku, then apply Mimihage's travel time to Royal Palace. With all these low-end values, it still comes out to being massively faster than light. And since Yūhabaha was able to react to this while his Almighty was blinded, so were the likes of Ichigo Kurosaki, Uryu Ishida, and post-Osh Valen Askin Naklevar. In fact, this Yūhabaha declared himself as far superior to Mimihage. And if the Bleach character is able to hit this level of speed while being drastically lowballed, then thanks to Kubo's own portrayal, Aura Michibane would be faster than Sarada. As for power, Aura Michibane was able to easily fend off Kisuke Urahara's 90th level Kido, which surpassed Grimmjow's Resurrection Gran Rei Zero, the same Grimmjow whose base Gran Rei Zero packed more spiritual pressure than Ginjou's Getsuga Tensho, although this was Ginjou before using Bankai, and the class of power that this Ginjou and Shikai Fullbring Ichigo belong to is a more advanced version of the Ichigo who was at bare minimum in the Garganta, approaching the level of base Aizen without his Shikai, which is relevant because this level of power is beyond the likes of Asashiro and Senna, with Senna releasing the energy of an entire space-time with its own star inside the Dangai Precipice world, this space-time being one of the Valley of Screams, with all necessities like natural light, Rayleigh scattering, gravity and such, with Soya Asashiro surpassing the Valley of Scream's feat, as he created enough energy capable of destroying the same walls which could tank the Valley of Scream's explosion, and Zaraki Kenpachi was also able to withstand that energy. And this Kenpachi was complete fodder to base Unohana without any Shikai or Bankai multiplier. And even if they're not on the level of Aizen exactly, anyone who is vaguely in the vicinity of Unohana and Aizen would fall in this category. And so even with star level or stellar class scaling, Sarada would not be able to overpower Aura Michibane. Tokinada, who collects all the Reishi and Reiatsu data from the battle sites through the visual department, even after witnessing the battle with Kenpachi Zaraki in Bankai and Gerard Valkyrie, despite all the multipliers like Shikai and Bankai that Kenpachi received above Unohana's strength, Tokinada still declared that Aura Michibane should be able to take on Kenpachi Zaraki because she's completely invulnerable to harm. And this is still somewhat of a lowball because Tokinada was comparing her to Kanfei Own World Kenpachi, who's a different monster altogether. Therefore, things like Fire Style and Chidori would be ineffective, and the strength of her gravity would be insufficient to suppress Aura, since Aura's scaling and the things that she can withstand have a higher power ceiling. Furthermore, Aura's offensive power is virtually endless, as she can manipulate all matter, whether it is the physical matter that makes up Sarada's body, or the spiritual matter that makes up her soul. Even on a large scale, she could convert all oxygen to poison, and at this point, Sarada doesn't seem to be able to use her powers for very long. And while she should possess a Susanoo since she has a Mangekyō Sharingan, there are no manifestation or feats yet. So the victory goes to Aura Michibane. Cheers.